So this, what I'm getting ready to go through with you all, is going to help you to just really understand what this means for what does Gemini mean for you? What area of life? Because I want us to remember that we want to hear about astrology, but we actually want astrology to make a difference in our lives, right? And so you want to be focused on, it's kind of like, yeah, I know what it means for my sign. Oh, excuse me. I know what it means generally, but what does it mean for my sign? Because I want y'all to hear it and be able to apply it and come back and say, hey, this is what I was able to focus on because I was working with the astrology. So with the sun moving into Gemini, again, it puts us on all things Geminian. Now, Gemini is a sign that represents a lot of things. So, you have to kind of figure out what does it mean for you. So it's relational. It has to do with small groups. It could have to do with your neighbors, your siblings, your cousins, peers. It's people who are peers to you. Could be your students also. It's all about communications of all kinds, writing, journaling, social media, speaking of all kinds. It's the mind also, because you can be thinking about your inner dialogue, but also the mind, mindset, mental health. Okay. These are all things that Gemini has to do with. Um, Again, the nervous system and the hands, arms, shoulders, lungs. And it has to do with business, especially with like kind of like day-to-day operations, not just a business, but life. It's kind of like, how do you operate day to day? Your comings and your goings. It's a sign that's very curious. It has to do with learning. And a lot of times when we're learning new skills. I will say, even though I'm a little bit upset with the media, I think that jobs like Uber, Lyft, where it's kind of like gig economy, people who work on Fiverr, um, the sites that you go to, and they, some people, you're like, oh, I just need to hire, someone to do this little project for me or whatever. Those kinds of signs, websites. I don't remember the name of them, but it's kind of like contractual work, temp work. I think that that's going to become more and more common with Jupiter moving into Gemini, because it has to do with skills. It may be we're going to go back to a society where people are really focused on skills. Gemini is connected to self-made worth because it's all about your skills. So learning new skills, teaching new skills. And it's a very curious sign, but it's kind of like it wants information. This is not like deep Sagittarius learning where it's like I've got to learn everything and become an expert. It's more of you learn just what you need to know, bite-sized pieces, and we're moving. It's also about traveling. It's largely short distance traveling, but also like how you travel. Are you going to be taking the bus? Are you going to be taking the train? You're going to drive your car? Like, how are you going to be moving about your life to and fro? Are you going to walk? Because again, that's a form of transportation and it's Gemini. Can you see how much Gemini has to do with? Wowzers. I would say if you really want to just kind of, narrow it down, I want you to think about mindset, and what area of life would do well with you having a new mindset, a new way of thinking about it, new approach. But maybe some of these other things will matter also. So I'm going to pull this up really quickly. Banners, yes. And go through the signs on what is Gemini meaning, because we have the sun, Venus, and Jupiter moving in there next week. So for the Aries, this has to do with everything that I just described. If you really want to know what this could be bringing up for you, Aries, I want you to just go back and listen to what I just said. This means um, for everybody. The general meaning is always the literal meaning for you, Aries. That's a very good position to be in because you're always kind of like, oh, Taurus means Taurus things for Aries, right? Gemini things mean Gemini things for Aries. So I think that maybe some of the Aries will start learning more, will start maybe even teaching more. But Aries is definitely going to become a sign that, or the Aries people are going to be like, hey, I want to learn new things. And Aries might become a little extra talkative for sure over the next 30 days. But I think for the next year, we'll be hearing a little bit more from Aries. To be honest with y'all, Aries don't talk a lot. They say what they want to say and then they just move on because they too busy, right? Oh, so this might make the Aries very busy. Aries might find that, you're traveling more. And I do think of all the signs, you're one of the ones who's going to have to really manage your mental health because it's just so much energy and activity there, and you might have to tell yourself to pause before you speak because you don't mind taking action. And another way of looking at this is you are impulsive. And so you might have to just be like, okay, before I speak, let me pause and take that breath that we practice in our mindfulness practice today. Okay. Let me go to Taurus next. So for Taurus, Gemini is your second house. So Tauruses are going to definitely be focused on what you are known for, Taurus, which is money, prosperity, abundance, personal finances. These are going to become primary topics for you. So, go with, like I said, we have some new energy coming in, Taurus. So these are, maybe you need to get some new skills if you are not good with money to help you be better with money. If you're one of the Tauruses that are like, oh, my finances are on point, then maybe you're going to be like, hey, I want to teach other people how to be, with their money in a way that's healthy, in a way that it, brings them abundance and prosperity. Um, I think that for some of the Tauruses, this could be bringing up, and when we're thinking about the mind, like, are you feeling worthy? Are you feeling valued? Are you charging for your services? There's something about the mind as connected to your worth and your value that I think could be coming up. And it could be Tauruses just need to do a little bit more self-care for their mind. This has to do with eating. So I think that could be something coming up for Tauruses also. Okay, so for Geminis, I guess I could. mm, I could build myself up. So for Gemini, this is happening. For Gemini, this is happening in your first house, and so with the first house, this means that you are going to be, to a large extent, going in a whole new direction. Now, this already happened. I want you to go back, Gemini, to um, 2021, mhm, maybe the end of 2020, top of 2022. I want you to go back there. Something new kicked off for you. There was a whole new, fresh new start that happened for Geminis. It may not have been comfortable though, okay? But there was something new that happened for you around that time. And so it's kind of like that is continuing at this point. You'll find yourself wanting to go even more in a whole new direction. And even if it was kind of like you saw the new direction you needed to go, you weren't able to do it. But now the road is going to open and it'll feel like, okay, I can see the vision. I know where I'm headed. I'm going in that direction. I think that you, Gemini, really want to open yourself up to more abundance, more calling into your life what you want because Jupiter is moving into your sign. Now we'll say Jupiter is actually kind of like the opposite of your energy. Um So there might feel like a stretching that starts happening for you. And so you just want to open yourself up to like, oh, I got to be, you're asking me to do what? Okay. Woohoo. So I'm excited for all of the Geminians out there. Okay. Next is Cancer. So for the Cancerians, you, along with the other water signs, are going to be doing a lot of healing. I'm going to say it that way. It could feel a little bit like like you're already uh like a little bit of a recluse and an introvert, and you might feel yourself go into it even more. Because I know some Cancerians have an introverted way, but you'll just kind of feel like you just want to go in, you just want to do this introspective work, you just want to focus on the inner you. And we'll be hearing the Cancerians like, I just want to heal up, of all the signs that would benefit from hypnotherapy, it would be you. Oh, mindfulness, another one, because that's what Gemini stands for, mindfulness. So I encourage all the Cancerians to, be ready to be more like, I just want to be spiritual. Another thing too, though, for Cancerians is creative. You might just feel like so almost like you want to go into like a creative lab, and you want to just go in and kind of experiment and figure out, what do you want to do with this energy of creation that you have within you. Or it could just be like a lot of creative ideas are coming your way. You want to have something to write them down on, Cancerians. Or you're just like, I'm just so open to spirit, right? So, and this is actually a little bit of a uncomfortable thing for Cancerians in some regard. This Gemini energy, and this, I think it could, I don't know. It's because I know Cancerians are intuitive. Um, but the energy of Gemini is in what is called a hidden house. So it's kind of like maybe you're all emotion and not enough logic. And so maybe it's going to be kind of like merging the two in some kind of way. Last little bit for the Cancerians, y'all might have to do a little bit extra to go to sleep. Okay. It's just how it is when you have planet a lot of this going on in the 12th house, which has to do with sleep. Okay, Leo, for you, I love this. Okay. Leos, this will bring this energy of abundance. The 11th house is where this is happening for you. It has to do with good fortune and being gainful. So I definitely think if any of the Leos have been struggling with money, abundance, that kind of thing, or you just been kind of feeling like good luck isn't on your side, get ready. I'm excited for you. So yeah, I'm excited for all of the Leos. It actually could also, for Leo, bring a lot of progress, even though I think some of the Leos might say, well, I was focused on A, but I don't think I'm going to focus on A anymore. I'm going to focus on something new. It's something new about goals, or maybe you'll just have like fresh new life breathed into you around your goals. So definitely, Leo, know that that's possible over the next year, actually, but it'll be heightened for the next 30 days. Mm, yeah, maybe 40. And let's see here. This you will be one of the signs, Leo, who might be looking at social networks, kind of like, am I with the right group? Or you start saying, you know what, I'm going to bring this group of people together. I'm going to create a community in this particular regard. So I love that for you, Leo. Yeah. Okay. Next is Virgo. Where the Virgo's at? Okay. So Virgo, something about career up level is on the horizon for you. Some big shift when it comes to career, could be a promotion, or you're just going to be taking your career in a whole new direction. Um, and maybe it's going to become more apparent as to how that looks for you. And it's also like, what are you known for? I think people underestimate career, and what we're known for is not always connected. Um, it could just be you've become somebody new, and everybody just keeps remembering the old you, but you're like, "Hey, I'm somebody new now." And so you'll just be out there letting folks know, "I don't know who you think I am, but I'm gonna tell you who I am, and you're gonna respect it." More Virgos are gonna be like, "Y'all gonna put some respect on my name." Um, but definitely new beginnings, big changes on the horizon for Virgos. So yeah, but Virgo is the energy of mutability. It's a mutable sign. And Gemini actually is a mutable sign. So that's something that I think will make it easier for the Virgos to adjust to. Whatever this new thing is that's coming with your career or just in general, your life. Okay. So next is Libra. So for Libras, this is happening in your ninth house. Now, the ninth house is another one of those houses that has to do with good luck and good fortune. So I'm excited for you all. Uh, I've been looking at the Libras and I'm kind of like, seems like Libras are skating through the South Node being in their sign. I don't know. It doesn't seem like y'all are really affected. So that's good. Um, because I think that you're being asked to release and let something go. But with Jupiter moving into Gemini, it's going to give you an opportunity to see the new direction that you're headed in. Okay. So, yeah, Libra definitely like a vision, a focus, I think could be coming up for you all. And you might actually want to learn something new. You might actually decide you're going to learn something on a higher level of some sort and maybe become an expert. Maybe you want to step into being a master teacher. And some of y'all might even want to travel, go abroad for some of the Libras. Maybe you're going to start saying, okay, I'm serious about writing my book, publishing my book, that kind of thing, as well as I would say uh, publicity. If you need some sort of publicity, Gemini being highlighted is going to help with that. So take advantage of it. That's a really good place. That's a really good place for you to be having Jupiter and just all this energy highlighting. Y'all will be the ones that are kind of like, I just, I have so much new perspective. You'll be able to reframe everything, hope and optimism. That's what will happen. Okay. Now it's Scorpio. So, Scorpio, you're one of the water signs. What did I say about the water signs? This could feel a little bit challenging. So, I'm just going to hold all of us. We're going to hold each other, Scorpio, because we've been through. This is a challenging placement when we have planets in the eighth house, because the eighth house is all about deep healing and wounding. And it's about transformation and change. It's like, creating that change from the inside out. But it's like we're willing to go to the depths, to the bottom. We'll go to the beautiful depths of your soul. But also it's like, no, we'll go down to the depths of all the problems and the pain and the wounding. And we're going to get to the root of it and we're going to get it healed up. Right. So Scorpio, you really want to be ready for that. I struggle whenever I have planets in this house. Gemini is not always my favorite sign because it highlights this house that has to do with pain. And it's an invitation to heal, Scorpio. It's actually our energy. We're here about change and transformation. So I have a whole new reframe on it. A lot of Scorpios are ready for a change. You're ready for a transformation. So it's time for us to do a self-imposed life makeover. Those are the best ones, Scorpio. Because if Scorpio doesn't transform and change, life will make it happen. Scorpio is the sign of drama and chaos. And so we have to constantly be doing things to keep ourselves, like to channel that energy. Otherwise, it just comes in any old kind of way. So I'm excited. I'm excited. Okay. It also has to do with money. It's a money house. So other people's money, shared resources. I do believe it could be an expansion, but you want to be cautious of debt going up. You want to be cautious of around taxes. You want to make sure you keep both of those in check, right? But or it could just open you up to have so much flow and abundance that you pay off your taxes, that you pay off your debt, that you keep your taxes low. And but you could get like grants and scholarships and fellowships, so it could bring in money like that also. Also has to do with intimacy, trust, and sexuality. So it could be bringing up all those topics for Scorpio. What will you do, Scorpio? What will we do? I'm acting like I'm not. Okay, Sagittarius. So for Sagittarius, this is going to be a life-changing time for you. Definitely some shift around relationships. Some of the Sagittarius might get married, some of the Sagittarius might get divorced, but it definitely will bring up topics around relationships. I often find that the seventh house doesn't just focus on the life partner. I think it brings up relationship topics in general. It could be you start creating a new philosophy around who you want to be around. Maybe you're kind of like, I've changed, but my relationships haven't changed. I want to, shift that. So that could come up for some of the Sagittariuses. And also how you receive support and give support. So I really encourage the Sagittarius is to make sure that you um, open yourself up to get help. Do you need to see somebody? Do you need to hire people instead of doing everything by yourself? Do you need to hire somebody? Sometimes it's like, okay, I'm going to hire somebody to help me move. Like, why are you trying to move yourself? Ask for some support. It'll be bringing up topics around that for you, Sagittarius. Balance, I find, is another topic. Is your life in balance or is it out of balance? And I think that Sagittariuses are going to get highlighted as to what's out of balance because Jupiter is going to be over there blowing, it's not blowing up, but expanding that energy, really like being this heavier energy on one side of your chart. And so it's going to make you like, oh, whoa, I'm just spending too much time doing whatever. And so you'll be looking at balancing things and also refining your life. Is there something about your life that needs refinement? Okay, next is Capricorn. So for Capricorn, this is happening in your sixth house. And this house has to do with self-care or your health and wellness routines. And I think that, Sagittarius, you're like, okay, I'm going to do A, B, C, and D. And you just keep doing A, B, C, and D. But now it's going to be kind of like, no, you need to do something new. We need to breathe something new into how you take care of yourself, how you exercise. Also, your day-to-day routines and operations. It's kind of like, hey, we need to freshen that up. Could be personal, it could be at work. I will say some of the Capricorns might be finding new jobs, or maybe you'll get some advancement also at your job, or just like you'll like the workplace better, or you'll be looking for a workplace that you like more. Capricorn. This house has to do with the house of problems. It could highlight your problems, but you have the wisdom of Jupiter there over the next year that's going to help you to solve your problems. So yeah, you'll be very much sort of in that energy of what you're good at. Very practical. You want to just focus on practical things, practical, 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 to-do list, checking to-do list off. This sixth house is about we looking at what's wrong. We're trying to get things decent and in order. So y'all forgive all the Capricorns if they come in trying to tell us, we're gonna do something new. It's just in their chart. Okay, so for Aquarius, I love this for you all. You are the additional sign that has Gemini on a house that has to do with good fortune. So I'm excited about that for you. And yeah, it could really bring about this energy though, where you're like, I just want to have fun. I want to do things that I enjoy. Some of this Aquariuses will be like, hey, I want to uh just go on more dates. I want more romance in my life. It'll make the Aquariuses have more fun. Sometimes Aquariuses are actually kind of serious because they're so intellectual. So maybe the Aquariuses need a little bit of fun. Um, Also, it has to do with children. So some of the Aquariuses might have children, or it just really brings up topics around you and your children. Maybe you want to hang out with them more, or there's just this focus. And some of the Aquariuses could turn a hobby into a business, or you just go find a new hobby. You really get into doing something. Maybe some of the Aquariuses will get into the hobby of walking, right? It's a very fun energy, creative energy. I think the Aquariuses will find that they just have so many ideas. So get your pen and paper out and write them down, Aquarius, because I think you'll be flowing more than you typically do because you already have a lot of ideas. And yeah, that's a really good place. Good fortune, I think, will abound for the Aquarius. So let's do this, Aquarius. You deserve it because Pluto is in your sign. And wow, that's a lot. Okay, last but not least is Pisces. So for you, Pisces, Gemini is the fourth house. So you're the last sign where it's like, oh, change and transformation is on the way. The fourth house has to do with home and family. So it could be something new around home. It could be even just like this whole new approach to family. There are times when my fourth house gets lit up and it's like, oh, I want to go visit my cousins and my aunts. And, I want to go do this, go home to see my dad more. It could just be some new focus around family. Maybe you want to start studying your ancestors, your genealogy. You'll want to work more with the ancestors. You'll just do more ancestral work, Pisces. So that's definitely something that could come up. And it has to do with your emotions. So it could be you're another sign that is like, hey, I need some emotional healing, or you just start doing things to help regulate your nervous system through working with the emotions. I do know me as a Pisces, that's something that's really important. It's like, oh, I got if I want my mental health to be well, I've got to do things to take care of my emotional body. So it could be that, but this fourth house is the foundation of everybody's chart. Everyone has a fourth house, and the chart sits on the fourth house. And so it's like Pisces, you may begin to say, I'm standing on a whole new foundation. Or you're kind of like, I'm getting rid of what was there and I'm replacing it with something new. And whatever this new foundation is, it allows you to be more expansive. Maybe just freeing up some stuck emotion is just going to give you more capacity to be able to take in more of life, to just to be grounded in yourself, rooted in yourself, rooted in your well-being. So yeah, I do think that this can help raise the intuition of Pisces. Maybe you hear more talking since Gemini is talking, so maybe you'll hear voices, or just this conversation, just this divine conversation, just constantly your intuition just flowing because it's very intuitive, very healing. It's a house that has to do with self-care. So Pisces, I love Pisces. I'm a Pisces, but we don't do a good job of taking care of ourselves. So I encourage you to do that. And you also want to just be cautious with